That's been my.
All right. Well, shit. I'm gonna be honest. You know it. I was expecting worse.
You were?
Oh yeah. You should have seen. Oh, you should have seen 6 months ago.
Okay. Well, I mean, I just woke up, came down to get a bite to eat, and this all transpired.
Oh, I didn't mean this. I mean, so last night I went to the shift meeting and there was no, like, people were excited. Like, it was not the reaction I was expecting. Not with Moss being gone, to be honest. I was expecting like a freak out. You know what I mean? And not the DOJ kind, more like the, afraid kind.
I see.
But anyways,
well, I was having a chat with Maxwell. A lot of uncertainty out there right now, according to her.
Yeah, I mean, understandably, they're waking up to an announcement. I mean,
right.
I was thinking about it this morning, like, the depth at which to explain the series of circumstances. Obviously, I don't want to get into the, like, I don't know. I think it'd be inappropriate for me to mention. I think the best. I'm sort of torn here, right? I think the most professional thing to say is, this was. I feel like the most I can and should say is, I had planned to replace the chief, and it happened sooner than I expected. Or even water it down even more to say that, Moss's tenure has ended and and not really going into any detail. Because
I think that's a better route.
Yeah. Because
Moss gave a lot of her time to this department.
She did, yeah,
and worked hard for it. I don't think we should. I don't think we should lie, but I also don't think we should volunteer information that's in any way, shape, or form damning her character.
Agreed. I mean, it's privileged. I mean, privileged might not be the right word, but there's a high command meeting, right? People don't need to know the details. It's just unprofessional in general. Right. I'm sure people have their ideas, but to be honest, I don't know. I think this is in an odd way, this is a blessing in disguise. As I thought about the conversation yesterday, I think the writing's been on the wall for a while, and Moss wanted to leave on her own accord. And this dates back to even before the third term began, right? And so, while it may have been more ideal if this was a bit more planned, right? I do think it happening sooner than later, so that it kind of forces the hand of picking a chief appropriately and taking the steps like now instead of it getting delayed even further. I think that's a good thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What am I watching? All right. Yeah, I agree. Been quite a bit of time thinking about how this is going to go if I accept it.
I could lay out something for you. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I want to make sure that this is temporary and not a permanent fix.
Yeah.
I want to work. If I do accept it, I want to make sure I do work with the mayor's office to find a permanent replacement.
And that's exactly what I want. I think I don't want to set a external time expectation. I think that's bad. Because as you've seen, planning is very difficult. with the amount of shit that happens. And you haven't even witnessed half the terrorism that we've had to deal with, the weeks prior. Internally, I think we set like kind of a 2-week period. It's enough time for observation. It's enough time to plan, get an idea as to who the appropriate candidates would be. And I would like your feedback with that, as you'd be able to do a more detailed level of internal inspection, right? While I can line up my more external expectations.
Hi.
How you doing? And then from there, look at, decide how the transition will look like. I mean, we don't have to decide that all now, but I think the skeleton of what that transition will look like, I think would be that, right?
Yeah, as long as we're moving that direction.
Yes.
I'm leaning towards the yes here.
Okay. All right. Well,
as long as it's a temporary position.
Yeah.
Having someone who's built up in the department, worked their way through the ranks, and has the trust of others in the chief of police position is important. As long as we preface that, if I were to take the position
in the meeting, yes,
in the meeting,
yes,
that I'm going to be working with the mayor's office to ensure the right person gets put in the chief of police position. I think that's the best route to take.
Agreed. I agree. When the question of like transfers and promotions come up, I believe that those are things that we keep open and we put in the hands of the captains and the existing ass chief, to allow them to continue running the department and empowering them. And the secondary reason I think that would be good is it would allow them to shine, like it would allow observation of how that process and that thought process happens. You know what I mean? How are those executive decisions made today? Are they working together to make those decisions? I think it can really push the some of that responsibility more on them and see how they react to it.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good route to take, and make sure that they're filling out their shift with command and members that they want to be there.
Yes. Yep. Agreed. I think on the topic of fear around like a reshuffle post chief, I'll probably say something along the lines of, I don't really expect there to be a massive like churn when a new chief is picked, as we want to make sure that the legacy of what Moss built here and alongside every other member in that room is not shattered, and that we want to continue building where that progress was last left off.
There will definitely need to be some changes, though, right? It's not going to be left alone. But...
Yes, I agree. Maybe I don't even touch that topic unless it's brought up.
Yeah. I think that's a better route. I'm not looking to flip tables exactly, right? But there is definitely some small changes I'd like to make.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Yeah. Look, I trust your judgment here. I think this is going to be very healthy for the department overall. I
hope it's the right decision.
Yeah. There is something that I wanted to do, and I'd like to do it in line with this. I call it the LSPD draft. Did I tell you about this?
I don't believe so. No.
You ever watch football?
From time to time.
You know, they've got the NFL draft where you draft in players.
I do.
I want to do something akin to that. Not this coming week, but likely the week afterwards. And the draft would be a means by which the LSPD, in some kind of like fun but manner, would be drafting existing LSPD members with ceremonial awards, right? Like, you know, something of the year, right? Driver of the year, you know, tactician of the year, you know, whatever. And they'd re-sign them into the police department for the next 2.5 months or 2 months, whatever my term is. And
do we have contracts for
yes,
these people?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
In addition to that, I want to be offering contracts out to other law enforcement agencies. Now, the manner by which this would work is that this would be a joint thing with the Captains Plus. But like, you know, a little bit of fun, like $5 million for Mr. Quangle. Now, whether or not he choose...
Driver.
I don't really know how... He's, Quangle is like, he's a good kind of energy. You know what I mean?
Okay, so
Yeah.
he's a hype man.
Yeah, that can, you know, fulfill his functions, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so I use that as an example, right? Because Quangle's like, you know, a sheriff up north, but I don't know. It's like a mix of like, it'd be good for a transfer, useful because like it'd be a useful transfer, but also it's kind of like fun, you know what I mean? Like, and not to mention it's like a good way to give PD some money.
Yeah, I mean, anything that's going to boost recruitment and boost morale and
yeah,
make sure people are having a good time.
yeah, agreed. I think it could
Totally
also, like, you know, I was thinking about breaking it into pots. Like one of those days could be for PNT, where like, you know, let's say the entire city, not the entire city, but anybody that wants to be a cop, right, could show up on like a draft day, and you know, you can imagine like 20 potentials, and you know, you put them through the paces, like have them run the track or like do little things, and who knows who you find in that activity, and then, you know, they take the names down, right? But you know,
Sure.
yeah,
That'd be good to work with PNT and
yeah. Anyways,
I'm not sure what, you know, I'm part of the reason I'm so hesitant is because I'm really out of touch with the internal workings of LSPD. I'm sure I could get some captains and sergeants to run me through things. And
Marco, thank you for the 20 months.
But
You
know, I'm not sure what their current standing is. You know, if they're needing help or needing funding, if they need more people. You know, from what I heard from you, they're not really getting a whole lot of cadets being taken out, which is
that
a baseline.
That is true, though. I will say that with the recent Maxwell promotion, I know that's changed, which is impressive.
Right. That's good.
Yeah, I think two things from my observation, right? And keep in mind, like, I'm not in the PD, right? But from my observation, it kind of sort of looks like, how would I explain it? The promotion to captain kind of forced her hand to actually delegate some of those tasks out.
One more time. You said you forced her hand?
No. Her promotion to captain forced her hand.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't hear you clearly there the first time.
No, you're good.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, it shows why she should have been captain. So
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
she picked that up right away.
All right.
I think Maxwell's worried about the new chief demoting her.
Dad, thank you for the 38 months.
She brought some concerns.
Mediates.
And I said it's better you talk to Nino or Moss, but you know.
Yeah.
She resigned under her own volition, and she's retiring. And Moss mentioned that the new chief generally comes in with new chain of command, new staff.
I don't think she should be too concerned.
I don't think so either, from what I've heard.
Maxwell tends to worry a bit, and rightfully so, right? During a lot of the debacle with BCSO and LSPD, the first month, I was immediately, there was a effectively a attack on my mayorship, impeachments, this, that, like anything I did was being surveyed, just on the premise of like Nino's a criminal. As to where those allegations come from, I got no idea. I mean, I genuinely haven't even, you know, I've gotten a speeding ticket. That's about it. But including allegations, mind you, I'm sort of setting the tone here. Is one of the LSPD recruits later told me, she used to be in the marshals. Her name's DJ. That DJ was instructed to find anything on me, and that includes using my past. I had a record about 20 years ago, 2 economies ago. So it was that level of like dirty, right? Now, under the sheer guise of me putting Moss as chief, and I went through a lengthy 160-hour interview process. 80 hours prior to becoming mayor, 80 hours after. And I ultimately decided I needed someone from the outside to bring to break the norm. You know what I mean? And I think it was the right choice, but as a consequence of her being my pick, she was dumpstered with all kinds of allegations from like chief of cadets, and every turn she made, like she was just getting lambasted. The DOJ, marshals, and the BCSO were just constantly just making her life miserable alongside Peters. And Maxwell was also on the front lines, protecting them and the department on a day-to-day basis. But eventually, a switch flipped in Moss. I don't know why. I don't know what caused it. I never cared to ask because, quite frankly, it was none of my business. But she went from trusting Peters and working with him to all of a sudden confiding in those that spent months trying to undermine her. I don't know if it was a case of her giving up and saying it's best to just give in to the, give in to those that were trying to do her harm. But when that did happen, all of a sudden, Maxwell fell into the crosshairs. It was very unfortunate to see. So when the talk about a new chief comes up, I can see where she's coming from, right?
I see. Okay. I give some explanation to that then.
Yeah.
Well, guess we'll take it day by day and work on finding that new chief of police in the meantime.
Sounds good to me. All right, I'm gonna do some things before the announcement.
All right, I will see you at the meeting, Nino.
All right.